Okay, so welcome to part 3 of Storytime with PanManTactLuci510, and we're going to continue with Narcissu, first and second, so let's do this already. Alright, so part 2, when we were on part 2, we stole father's prized possession and stole some clothes. Broke out of the hospital, and yeah. So let's see where we're gonna continue here. So this is chapter 3.
時間の止まった私
My time is at a standstill. I piled useless trivia upon useless trivia, drew information from the TV and the TV alone, even though we're on the road and don't have a TV. And so nothing was real anymore, fading away in the hollow space.
でも地図を見るのは好きだった
But I loved looking at maps. Trains, cars, I love things that could take me places, including my feet. I spread out maps on top of my narrow bed, changed routes over and over and over, and wasted gas. Sedans, coupes, convertibles, rode on so many different kinds of cars, even though we only have one. The number one route continuing on forever. I ran on that road forever and ever and ever, until we ran out of gas. Indigo blue skies, beautiful coastlines. I ran until I came at last to these places sketched in my dreams. Slowly tracing past the arc of a cape, running on the white sand of a beach, the sun to my back. But if I closed my eyes, I could go anywhere. Just like Mommy said. Towards landscapes that I had never seen with my own eyes, longing for the soil upon which I could never hope to tread.
無意味にただ知識だけを増やした
My useless stockpile of trivia was the only thing that increased.
虚しく憧れだけを募らせた
All emptiness, all the colors of yearning. January 21st, 2005. The sky after the rain. The high flying clouds streaming by at knife-edge speeds. The unique swishing sounds of tire on wet asphalt. And through it all, there we were, driving along as always, in our Monday Mintegra. No destination, just the desire to keep going no matter what. It wasn't as if I was looking to go to Awaji Island after all. We didn't even have the gas money to get there anyway. But I drove straight ahead on unfamiliar roads even as I thought these thoughts. But where were we? I was forced to wonder. I didn't know my geography very well to begin with, and I was seeing all sorts of place names I didn't recognize. I had planned on driving onto the ends of the earth, but with the GPS navigation system broken, I had no idea anymore. And before I knew it, I started looking around anxiously at the street signs as I drove. I don't know at all.
何
What? Well, I don't know where we are right now. She'd said something to me, and I'd given her a casual response. At least you're honest. Because she probably wasn't going to know even if I asked her.
入間よ埼玉県
Iruma District, Saitama Prefecture. What?
次の交差点を右に行けば16号線
The next right.
八王子へ出るわ
The next right leads to the number 16 route towards Hachiuji. this? Did you happen to live around here or something?
別に
No,
そんなんじゃないわよ。
nothing like that at all. It was a surprise. No, it wasn't just surprising. It was nothing short of a miracle that she knew the rules to this detail. Because no matter how I looked at it, she didn't seem to have driven around all that much herself. Then could it be? Do you know the way from here to Awaji Islands?
質問の意味がわからない。
I don't understand why you're asking me. Well, see, we might be able to get there on normal highways without having to get on the tollways. And we might just have enough gas money to get us there. To the lands of hopes and dreams.
あなた
Do
行き
you?
たいの？
Do you? Wanna go there? Well, no. That's not what I meant.
じゃあ聞かないで。
Then don't ask me. That was predictable, to be honest. With those words, she fell silent. And she turned to face the window with as frosty a demeanor as ever. But she wasn't looking at the passing scenery. It felt like she was just staring at something in the unreachable distance. Her, but don't ask me. Just what the hell was that supposed to mean? How could she have replied if I told her that I was planning on going? We simply continued on. No purpose, no aim. It wasn't as if we had a plan or schedule from the get-go. We just didn't want to die on 7F or at our so fake homes. But I, and maybe I alone, must have wanted something to show us the way, no matter what that way might be. January 2nd, 2005. It's cold.
そうね。
So it is. Some beach whose name I did not know. We'd reached the sea before we'd known it. I'd been planning on heading west, but somehow it looked like I'd ended up going south. Whoosh. A pitch black sky and a cold windy waterfront. We both got out of the car and stared at the darkened sea. She stood apart from me as usual and stared into the distance, where the black sky and the ocean melted into the horizon's edge. And after seemingly taking in the view of the ocean for a while, we decided to take off our clothes and jump in and go for a swim. She slowly started walking towards the beach.
どうなると思う？
Hey, what do you think will happen? Now I've got no idea what you're talking about.
楽に死ねると思う。
Do you think I'd be
入っていくと。
Do you think I'd be able to die at peace if I just walked into the sea? Those were her words as she slowly walked into the sands, her back turned to me. The third time was the end. There was no fourth time. The choice was between dying on 7F and dying at home. Apparently no one had escaped this choice, except for us when we stole father's car and broke out of the hospital. Those were the words that she herself had spoken to me. And yet on her second time around, she told me that she didn't want to die on 7F or at home. This was after she'd explained the rules to me, after her duty to me was already over. That's why I felt that this is what she meant. I don't know. I never drowned before. Oh, I'm sorry.
じゃあもしも今私が海に入っていったなら
Then, if I walked into the sea right now,
あなた止める
would you stop me? She turned her head to look at me as she said this, with the moon rising in the dark heavens as her backdrop. And her gaze, which had always been so far away, is directed straight at me. I don't know. I'd have to see when the time came.
そうよね
I guess so. And that's where she ran towards the sea and went swimming. She then turned her back to me and slowly started walking towards the sea once more. Why are the jokingly things I say are things that end up happening? Not in the context that I say it, but, you know, why? Hey, tell me. Yeah, tell me.
何
What is it? Do you want to be stopped? Upon hearing my words, she stopped short of the waves. A strong wind kicked up a spray that beat against her feet. If you want to be stopped, then I'll stop you.
別
And
に
I'll stop you.
そんなんじゃないわよ
Not really. That's not it at all. Then it'll be fine if I don't stop you, right? There was no reply to my question. But her feet did not move any further either. So that was her answer then and there. The high, high heavens of winter. Blue and clear almost to the point of morning. Strong north winds beating against the electric wires overhead. The silver coupe reflecting that blue sky on its shining frame. With me at its wheel and her in the passenger seat as per usual. I didn't know where this was. But the real problem was that we were going to run out of gas soon. We didn't have that much money to begin with, and after various convenience store purchases, we had even less. Only about 7,000 yen left. Of course, I had no idea how many liters this car took, but we probably had enough money to fill the tank once. Yeah, it was $6. We still didn't really have a destination or anything, but if we didn't fill up, we could not go anywhere anymore. I'm going to fill up on gas.
そう
I see. And with that, I turned the steering wheel and drove into a gas station that was coming into view. Welcome! Will you be paying by credit or cash? Cash, please. Regular or premium? Regular? Premium? I had no idea. Well, then again, I had no idea about anything in this car. That's why you have manuals in the glove box. And on top of that, it had been a long time since those driver's license classes. Which one would you like? Well, there I was at a loss for words, and there stood the gas station attendant waiting for me. And then, just as I was about to answer at random because I didn't care which one of the two it was, she She spoke from the passenger seat.
レギュラーよ。
Regular, please. Huh? Oh, okay. Regular then. Okay then. Regular. Full tank. Paying with gas? Cash? Yeah, that'll be all. Okay then. Thank you very much. The attendant skillfully began his operation with those cheerful words. The strangely disagreeable smell of gasoline wafted in from the window that I had opened roughly 10 centimeters. Hey, are you sure that this thing takes regular? She said nothing at all to this and just pointed at the prices list. Oh, so that was it. It was cheaper this way. I didn't understand it very well, but I didn't think there was that much difference in price. And then I saw the gasoline meter and the number of liters being displayed. 25, 26, 27, 28. Ready or not, here I come. The numbers were going by at incredible speed. Maybe I'd made a mistake. I began to get a little worried as I watched those numbers climb. I told him to fill the tank a while back, but I didn't have that much money on hand. Even with the coins, I only had about 7,000 yen. And of course, I had no idea how many liters this tank took. What was I going to do if I didn't have enough money? I did some quick calculations and realized that after 60 liters, I wouldn't have enough. 38, 39, 40, 41. The numbers kept climbing without slackening pace at all. And I became more and more worried over something I usually didn't give a second thought to. Damn, how many liters does this thing take? I'd let the words out before I knew it.
大丈夫よ。もう止まるわ。
Don't worry, it'll be over soon. Huh?
これ、50リッターだから。
This has a 50-liter tank, see? And just as she said, this gasoline meter stopped between 47 and 48. The sound of a receipt being printed out, then the attendant at my window again. Thank you for waiting. The total comes to 5,240 yen. Oh, okay, here. I took out a 5,000 yen note and a crumpled 1,000 yen note from my pocket and handed them to the attendant. Alright, then your change comes to 760 yen. Here's your receipt. Damn, gas prices are cheap in this story. Thank you for your business. I turned straight onto the road upon hearing the attendant's cheerful voice. The silver coupe, now in motion once more. On the right side, I was no longer worried about running out of gas. On the not so right side, we only had about 2,000 yen left. This worried me, but there was something that preoccupied me much more. Hey, question. Could it be that you're an expert on cars too?
別に。
Not really. What do you mean, not really? You knew that this car took 50 liters of gas, didn't you? Of course, it may well have been that this kind of thing was absolutely common knowledge that I just didn't have. But she proven that she was an expert on these roads not so long ago. Having been caught by surprise twice now, I took out the vehicle specifications from the glove compartment, something that you should have done beforehand. And of course, you know the make and model of this car as well, don't you?
それは質問。
Is that a question? You can think of this as a quiz if you want. is a Honda. Why does it have an M instead of an H? Correct. In the specs.
99年式5速ミッション
99 model year.
最高出力200馬力
99 model year. 5 speed. Max 200 horsepower. I had no expectation that she'd actually answer. I almost involuntarily followed along the vehicle spec sheet as she rattled off figures with total disinterest.
全長4380全幅1695
Length
総排気量 1797cc
Length 4,380. Width 1,695. Engine displacement 1,797cc.
まだ言うの
Do you want me to go on? No, it's alright. You're correct. I put the vehicle spec sheet back in its place. I couldn't believe my ears, but she nailed every single specification. I didn't think one could just memorize these things, and I couldn't even venture a guess as to why she had. But right before my eyes, she had gotten every single spec correct. And thinking back to the roads and flowers, I was getting the impression that she knew a lot about a lot. Okay then. Hey, just why do you know so much about everything?
別にあなたより年上
It's
だからよ
nothing. It's just that I'm older than you. And with that very response, she went back to her usual silence. With her staring out the window again, I didn't find myself able to throw any more questions at her. Older. It really didn't look that way at all, but this was something she said before too. Her name was Satsumi. Her blood type was O. Those were written on her white ID bracelet. There was very little indication to show me that she was older than me at all. Around when the sun started peeking out from under the clouds, the silver coupe speeding along. No destination, no place to go, just running forward. No more worries about gasoline, but no more money either. Only about 2,000 yen left. Only enough for 3 or 4 more days, at most, of convenience store food. Alright, so now what do you want to do?
質問の意味がわからない
I have no idea what you mean by that. I mean that we have no money left.
だから
And so, look you. Her appearance as unchanging as ever. And this conversation we were having while eating rice balls bought at a convenience store not long ago. Finally, the fact that even if we were driving along like this, we were using up gasoline little by little. And it might have been better to just stay still without doing anything at all. But it was impossible for me to stay still without doing anything, without shooting for anything. And I kept driving with those feelings at heart. If we just kept driving on normal highways, we'd run out of gas in about 3 days. Likewise, we only had enough for 3 to 4 days worth of food with the 2,000 yen we had left. We were obviously going to become too poor to do anything soon enough. Hey, do you want to try going to this Awaji island? No reply. She just kept staring out the window as per usual. I think I might want to. Why? Well, it wasn't as if we escaped from 7-Up with any goal or destination in mind. Because east or west, no matter where, anything was fine with me. But maybe that's why I wanted a goal and a destination, because anything was fine with me. Around when the daylight had given over to the darkness of the night, I had stopped the car in the parking lot of a pachinko parlor. I hope I said that right. Obviously, I wasn't planning on winning any money through pachinko or slots. I knew that there wasn't much I could do on just 2,000 yen alone. But if I were skillful enough, I just might be able to swipe 10,000 or 20,000 yen. That was my guess, based on the many times I've been to pachinko parlors in the past. If I only had that much, we'd be okay in the first place. And we might even be able to get to Awashi Island on that amount. And so, I told her about the plan that I had just thought up. How about it? Gonna try it out?
Yeah.
No. Okay, very well. I'd expected it, but she saw me down immediately. I hadn't hoped that she'd cooperate with me in the first place, and I told her about my plan as a fait accompli, not because I wanted her aid in it. Alright, then wait here. I got out of the car and strode into the pachinko parlor alone. It was more crowded than I thought. Lots of pachinko balls, lots of people, and more importantly, cash boxes crowded everywhere. As good a place as any. And thinking this, I head over to the slots machine. I inspected it from the corridor for a while, and after having finished my survey, I focused on one set of machines. Lots of middle-aged salarymen, alright. Up to 4 boxes at their feet and up to 2 on racks above them. And an empty stand separating each of them. From what I'd seen before, these men hadn't come with acquaintances or friends. This satisfied their requirements. Perhaps in a place like this, no one would notice if I swiped one of those cash boxes. Uh-oh. And in a store like this, each one probably had 20,000 yen or so. And with just that much, I just kept waiting there for one of the salarymen to go into the bathroom. After a little while, after roughly 30 minutes had passed, a salaryman finally stood up from his seat. After I tailed him for a bit to make sure he was going to the bathroom, I dashed back to the stand that he occupied, and watching the people who were hitting the slots and at the attendance, I slowly approached that stand. Then, so as not to raise any suspicion, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, I swiped one of those cash boxes underfoot. Clink, 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 clink. That moment, coins scattered everywhere with a thunderous noise. I'd been meaning to pick it up. No, I really had picked it up with my very own hands, but they were unable to bear that weight, and the cash box crashed onto the floor. Everyone turned in my direction to see what the commotion was all about. I got the feeling that someone was shouting. I got the feeling that someone was running towards me. But that was all behind me. I had already bolted and was less than 2 meters away from the entrance of the establishment by then. Slam. Pat, pat. I put the I put the engine in ignition in a hurry and floored the pedal. And when I spun the wheel to make my hasty getaway, just then, wham! Crunch, crunch. Eek. I'd run against the curb or something as I turned to make my getaway. Thus the horrible crunching sound. But I accelerated onto the road before me without giving it a second thought. Pant. My suddenly constricting, out-of-breath chest and the silver coupe speeding out of the daylight and into darkness. I was concerned about the crash a little while ago, but I had to distance myself from that place now. And soon, after 10 minutes of this, a fair distance away from that pachinko parlor, I stopped at some roadside and started to get out to inspect the damage.
大丈夫？
Are things okay? Yeah, doesn't look too serious. She sounded slightly worried as she called out to me. I answered her as I inspected the damage. There was just a bump in the rear fender and a small crack in the muffler. Didn't look as if there would be any problem driving like this. Sigh. I let out a sigh, somewhat relieved. Well, you should be. First you rob a car, then you rob some clothes, and then you attempted to rob a cash box. I think you failed it and you got away. I think. So, you should be relieved. That sucked. I thought back at what had just happened in the pachinko parlor. I'd slip up there, but had I been a little more skillful, I might have pulled it off. And the reason I wasn't able to hold on to that cash box was because it had been a while since I lifted something heavy. If I had held on to it with all of my strength at the outset, I might have been able to make it.
勘違いしてるわね。
So you miscalculated. Huh?
今のあなたは
The
以
current
前のあ
you
なたとは違うはず。
The current you can't do what the former you could have. She'd spoke as if she'd seen straight through me. But that kind of weight.
同じように
So it's best
考
not
えない方がいい。
so it's best not to think of it the same way. Perhaps she was right. I didn't want to admit how changed I was. Fair enough, I hadn't anticipated at all that I could grow this weak. Then, what should I do? No answer. Eyes turned in silence towards the window to stare into the dark night sky. This was probably the way she was telling me to give up. That's it. It's over. Just like that. Alright then, I guess that was chapter 3. See, can I pause right here? Oh yeah, that's right, I can't. Okay, let's just start chapter 4.
時間を止め、心を止めて。
And we'll save here. And yeah. Let's look at the time. Oh, 29. Okay, so I guess this ends part 3. Part 4, I don't want to say tomorrow because I said it in part 2 and ended up being how many days late on that? So, part 4 will be when I get to it. So, this was Storytime with PanManTactLuci510. See you again.